South Africa has been awarded the best country to visit and its capital, Cape Town, the best city in the world. The awards given at the 2023 Telegraph Travel Awards are said to be a testament to South Africa's undeniable allure and the enduring impact it has on travelers. It also underscores its unparalleled natural landscapes, rich biodiversity and vibrant cultural experiences. Hub Head South African Tourism, Thekiso Rakolojane, joins us now to speak on South Africa, its tourism exploits and its role in Africa. Good to have you.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so we've heard, your country won the best country to visit and, of course, the best city as well. So how did that happen? But in relation to issues of, when you talk about xenophobia and ethnic violence, when you hear things like that, so how did this come up?
I think one of the things that has really worked in our advantage as a country, particularly from a tourist's perspective, is that the UK, where the Telegraph is based, is our second biggest source of tourist arrivals. Number one being the US. So obviously that's what would have contributed positively to that. But I think also what is quite exciting is that the survey was not just based on the Brits. It was quite a global survey. And in the main, in comparison to our competitors, we came out tops. And the challenges you raised, whether it's issues of xenophobia, attacks against foreign nationals, is things that we exist and certainly things that we are quite cognizant of. And it is being dealt at the national level, and we are happy to say, it's something that in the past 4 years or so, we've not had any of those issues since September 2019. So I guess the improvements that have been done in the country is what would have contributed positively to this ranking.
Okay.
As a Nigerian, I'm going to have to, with my full chest, not agree with this ranking. Just joking. I see your face is getting serious. It's just a joke. Nigerians and South Africans, we feel like we're kind of the center, and now South Africa has come out to take this ranking officially. In terms of what South Africa has to offer with Nigerians, he was just speaking about issues with xenophobia, etc., but there's issues with getting visas. We want to go to the best place in the world, don't we? We want to see what you guys have to offer us so we can apply it here or just live our best lives. But some of us have issues with getting visas. Can you speak more on that? If there's more of a push or lowering the requirements in order to get a visa to come visit the beautiful country?
So I think therein lies the conundrum. My job is to get Nigerians to visit South Africa. That's why I'm here.
Right.
So I'm here to encourage the two of you and pretty much all Nigerians that are wanting to go spend their summer in South Africa. Right. Go find out why Cape Town is the best city to visit in the world.
Right.
Now, visa, yes, it's a challenge. I think visas are a global phenomenon in terms of a challenge wherever you want to go. I was at dinner last night and I heard that to apply for American visa, the appointment alone takes about a year. Obviously, for a South African visa, it won't take you that long. Without making the comparison, I think the essence of it is a challenge to obtain visa. But what we've done as a country is we've now implemented a two-tiered system. You can apply for an e-visa, where you apply online within the comfort of your home. So you do not need to leave your house to go to the VFS to apply. And also, you do not have to have your documentation at VFS and leave it there. So you can travel and go about your business without the old system where you had to go and drop off your passport. Same thing where even if you going into the VFS, whether it's in Abuja or Lagos, you actually have an option of either dropping your passport or applying and not leaving your passport. Okay. And then when your visa is issued, depending on you having submitted all the right documentation, then the VFS will alert you and you can come collect your visa and you're on your way to Johannesburg or to Cape Town, wherever it is in South Africa you want to visit. So we encourage people to appraise themselves with the process in terms of the requirements. What we found is a lot of people are actually being declined because of a variety of reasons. It could be the legitimacy of the documentation that you're providing, your inability to go on the trip and actually fund the trip. Because it's one thing to be having 10,000 naira on a trip when the whole trip would have possibly cost you 1 million naira. Yeah. So in actual fact, you won't be able to afford the trip going on, when you visit the trip. So we encourage people to appraise themselves with the process, and with the documentation, you definitely will be on your way. Just a good stat to share with you. in the last financial year, we saw some 16,000 Nigerians visit South Africa. So what that tells you, obviously coming out of COVID, pre-COVID we had about 40,000 Nigerians visiting South Africa year on year. Now we are on our way post-COVID, so the number is increasing. So this year I'm hoping to get from the 16,000, I want to double the number. So I'm here to say to Nigerians, please come visit us and come have a good holiday in South Africa.
All right, ambitious plan. Wish you the best of luck on that. But when it comes to cultural exchange, what's the outlook like for Nigeria-South Africa relationship? What's the main outlook there?
I think one of the things that, matter of fact, my Consul General was talking about this last week Friday when he hosted Nigerians from the are actually, as we speak now, in Durban, in KwaZulu-Natal. They've gone for the film festival. One of the things that he raised is Nigeria and South Africa have what we call siblings rivalry.
Oh yeah, that was what I was mentioning in the beginning. That's why I rejected it with my full chest, but let's
Which is a
digress.
good thing, because as much as we are antagonistic against each other, we also love each other. And the reason why I say this, you look at the music. If you go to South Africa, every club you go to, it's Afrobeats everywhere. I come to Nigeria. Last night I was out at Zaza, and all I could hear is my piano. And we love each other's food. And so in essence, I think it's a very dynamic relationship we have. And certainly for us as South African tourism, we view it to be one of the key drivers to drive that social cohesion between the two countries. And if it's something that can be driven from both sides, that drives the dialogue, deals with the perceptions, because it's in some cases it's really not realities, it's perceptions of you might be this and you might be that. There's more similarities than there's differences, particularly when it comes to elements of culture, whether it's music, food, football. I believe South Africa has got a better team, but I know you'll argue with me.
Oh, the Patriots, speaking there.
Listen, okay, the exit door for this segment is here. Me and I will gang up and just joking. But, speaking of what we can socially get from each other, recently, well, a while back, I was in East Africa, and there was a comment about the fact, like, oh, you're a single woman in East Africa by yourself. A lot of women, Nigerian women, we don't see a lot of Nigerian women here by themselves, or mostly it's men that have come to take their women. So we know a lot of South African, a lot of Nigerians go to South Africa, but what's the breakdown in population between the females and males, and why could that be? As a female, personally, traveling alone within Africa it's a little bit of risky business. And I know South Africa has, some spots are known for its not so safe areas. So what advice would you give for women who are traveling alone to South Africa? Would you even recommend it? Or is it more of a couples kind of thing? And we're leaving the men out of it because we already know that the men go to South Africa and take their women. So.
And we encourage them to come along.
Oh, okay. All right.
We've got more than enough.
All right.
Now, firstly, I can tell you one thing. In terms of our statistics, yes, you are right. Predominantly in the main, we're seeing a lot of men visits. Most of them coming for business reasons, and we encourage a lot of that. But what we've seen an increase is ladies coming for birthday parties. Matter of fact, as we sit here today, I have about 3 or 4 groups that are already planning to have their Christmas birthday parties in Cape Town, in the One Lands. And these are groups of ladies, and and those are the types of things that we encourage. A lot of people are talking to us around, having their weddings in South Africa, doing their honeymoons. Now, a lot of those, as we do them, the idea is in the long term. The bride and her friends, and eventually bride and her family will go back and start building their own ladies' itineraries, because we've got a lot of activities for the ladies to do. And across all the 9 provinces, there's almost everything to do. When you talk of issues of safety, because we are so serious about tourism, at a national level, we've got what we call the Tourism Safety Initiative, which is a collaboration between government, private sector, as well as communities, particularly in where we know that there's a lot of tourist activities. So if you go to Cape Town or Joburg, particularly around the hotspots of tourism, a neighborhood where I was born and come from in Soweto, if you go there, the Vilakazi Street, where you'll find our former President Nelson Mandela's home, you feel midnight, you can walk up and down, pop in and out of the restaurants. The communities come together to make sure that it's a safe place and people can enjoy it. because we want to have what we call repeat visitors.
Indeed, I know you said you're trying to encourage Nigerians to go to South Africa, but what about South Africans coming back to Nigeria? Have a feel of Nigeria itself. Do you engage in such ventures as well?
Well, personally, within my networks, yes, it is important. And the reason why I say it's important, I've lived in Nigeria now. I've come in and out of Nigeria for the past 5 years. And I completely enjoy being in Nigeria. I love the food, I love the music, I love the people. I just love the hustle nature of Lagos is something that I resonate with. And it's something that I share personally in my circles. But I think Nigeria as a country can do a lot more in encouraging South Africans to come and experience what Nigeria has to offer.
Okay, but have you, in your capacity, also encouraged them as well, from your experience?
Well, in the platforms that we have, particularly with those that are responsible for tourism in Nigeria, we do, moreover, even at the bilateral level, there is an agreement, as an example, between Nigeria and South Africa, a signed bilateral agreement, which was signed, I think it was 2 years ago in Abuja when my president came to Nigeria, and it talks about the cultural exchange, talks to tourism, it talks to business, arts and culture, all of those facets that just create a positive exchange between the two countries. So we are even presenting ourselves available to share, activities and best practice of what we've done to assist our counterparts in Nigeria in ensuring that they can also access the South African community.
Very good.
All right, Thekiso, before we let you leave, for those traveling to South Africa and taking your advice, what should they be eating? Where should they be going? And what should they be looking out for?
You see, eating is a very challenging thing when you're talking to a Nigerian, and I'll tell you why.
Well, yes.
On a 3-day trip, by the second day, they're looking for a Nigerian restaurant. We
want our jollof rice, we want our ogbono soup, etc.
And we have it. Everywhere you go in South Africa.
You guys have jollof rice?
Absolutely. Talk to any Nigerian that's been to South Africa, they'll tell you. Whether you're in Cape Town, Johannesburg, Pretoria, Durban, there's always a Nigerian restaurant somewhere. And even when we take them on hostings, we always make sure in the itinerary, at some point, we revitalize the palate to make sure that, because there is a complaint that some of our food is a bit, Eurocentric and a bit bland on the palate, but which I beg to differ. We've got very dynamic menus, but we always encourage people to try the variety of our cuisines. But I think what is exciting is South Africa has something for everyone, whether it's a family, a group of friends, or you're individual just going on a retreat and you just, the hustle and bustle of Lagos has got into you. Now you want to go and just relax yourself. We've got all of that for you.
I guess you've just encouraged more Nigerians to key.
Nia and I are going to be applying for our visas very soon. We'll be seeing you in South Africa.
You're welcome. We look forward to it.
All right, so good idea. All right, Thekiso Rakolojane, that's the hub head, South African Tourism. I'd like to thank you very much for your stay and, of course, coming to Newsday. It's good to have you.
Thank you for having me.